friends, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be me talking about all of the books that I have read for the month of January 2025. It's satisfying. I'm super happy with my first reading month of the year. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to be flipping through my January pages in my reading journal as well. So for a little bit of like a spoiler warning, I do write information that happened in the books in my journal entries. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't read into my entries that much and we'll just talk about it. I'm going to be no spoilers as much as I can when it comes to me talking about these books. I'll just talk about whether I like it or not and like general themes and points in the book, especially when it is like told or written in the synopsis. So I did manage to fill out some of my yearly pages here. I did purchase 2 books for the month of January, which is 50 Greatest Crime Stories, a collection of short stories, classic short stories about crime-related stuff, and then Phantom of the Opera. I did fill up all of the dates here, whether I read on that day or finished a book on that day. And then I did make progress in my 26 books before 2026 list. This was supposed to be a 25 in 2025 list. However, I made a mistake when I wrote it down. So I thought adding one more book won't hurt. So I did manage to knock out 3 of the 26 books in January, which is super fun. I will talk more about this later, but this is like a summary page for all of the months, books, pages, and hours wise. Series tracker, I did read 2 series that are part of that. Ignore this one because I read that in 2024, but I did manage to read 2 from my series tracker, and I'm going to skip this first and go right into January. So this is our January theme. I tend to do my January theme the same as the yearly pages theme. So it's all like greenery, and also like very vintage scrapbook journaling, and also very botanical. So I do have my Q1 TBR here. All of the blue ones were included in my January TBR. I'm deciding that I'm going to do that now, wherein if I like include it in a TBR or read it for the month, I am going to color it in based on the monthly color that I chose, blue being January, and then February I of course chose pink. So proceed with the TBR. So here is the TBR. I only did not read 2 books from my January TBR that we have chosen, which is fine. I am going to look for a time to read those. My actual read page, which we will talk about more when I finish with all of the individual books, and then stats and favorites. So I'm going to come back to those later. The first book that I have read for the month of January 2025, the first book I've read for 2025, I actually cheated a little bit. So for the first day of the year, New Year's Day, I actually stayed up to light sparklers for the new year, as my brother and I always do. And I decided, why not be like a 24-hour reading vlog situation. I did sleep. I do have a video for that up in my channel, but I included, I believe, 4 books in that video, and I did finish reading 2 of the books on the 31st. But I said in that video as well, I'm going to count all of the books that I've read for the reading vlog as January 1, like to kickstart like the reading year of 2025. So the first one that I finished is The Mysterious Affairs in Styles, or is it in Styles or at Styles? At Styles by Agatha Christie, the first book in the Hercule Poirot series. I actually listed down here all of the Agatha Christie collection, specifically the Hercule Poirot ones. For now, I'm going to add the other one here when I finish this, because I know that I might not be able to finish this, but I do want to at least knock out a few of the main stories of the Hercule Poirot series for now. And the first one, The Mysterious Affairs in Styles, I gave it a 3-star. It wasn't anything super special, I guess. It was, of course, like there is this tendency wherein if it's like a very long series, that each book can be a standalone, especially in this like the Hercule Poirot series. It wasn't that much. There is this case wherein a death happened due to poisoning, and then who among the people in the house or closest to this old woman poisoned her, what was the poison used, I guess, and all of the issues when it comes to the relationships within these people happen, and it's like a very generic whodunit situation. So I gave it 3 stars. It was I listened to this on audiobook, so it's like I shut my brain off doing chores while listening to this, and it wasn't really that remarkable. The second book that I finished for that reading vlog was Two Tilted Crowns by Rachel Gillig, the second book in the Shepherd King series. So this is the first series that I finished for 2025, which is fun. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 star. It is more of the story of Nightmare, the thing, the entity that is in the brain of our main character, Elspeth, and the story behind the cards. So if you don't know, One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, the Shepherd King series, it is a fantasy dark dystopian, I guess, wherein their magic system is basically enclosed in these cards, wherein each card could potentially give you a certain type of power. And this one was quite a moving story. I really enjoyed it. It's the backstory of all of it, and there is also a romance in this, and I'm pretty pleased with the book, and being a duology, it's like the perfect length for that. The third book that I finished for that reading vlog is Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. It is a novella. I wanted to actually read a bunch of books that are shorter for this 24-hour reading vlog, just to motivate myself. I can get a lot of books done in a short amount of time. So Graveyard Shift, actually a 3-star for me. It is about this group of people that are working the night shift, and they go to the cemetery wherein they hang out and smoke. They're not particularly friends, but one day while they were out there in the cemetery, they discovered a freshly dug grave, and a shady person, I guess, was burying something, and one of the main characters, being a journalist, wanted to know more about who this person is, what is he burying in this grave, and all of the madness that happened afterwards. It's quite fun, actually, how this ragtag group of people actually cooperated in order to discover the mystery of what has been buried in that grave. And then the fourth book that I finished for that reading vlog is Penance by Kanai Minato, my first 5-star of the year. So Kanai Minato also wrote Confessions, and it was also a 5-star for me last year, so I wanted to read more of her books. This is actually a very sad story of a girl who was murdered, possibly assayed, and this group of kids, like her friends, don't know how or what to do because they were still kids when this happened, and one of their friends has gone missing for quite some time, and when they discovered her body, she was already gone. And this is like the trauma that happened to all of the girls, followed by the event that happened to this friend. So it's actually heartbreaking, but also you can get very angry on the adults that were in this book. So it's worth the read. Just trigger warnings for like essay, trauma dumping, victim blaming situation. Now we proceed to the books that were part of the 24-hour reading vlog, but I was not able to get right into. To You Shall All Flesh Come by Lumen Reese was one of them. This is a vampire story of like this surgeon pair is actually harvesting organs for people who are in need of organs. They are like some sort of like black market illegal stuff, and they are harvesting organs actually from vampires, because they know that vampires can actually regenerate their organs as long as they don't harvest the heart. And it was quite an interesting take on the whole organ donor, organ harvesting situation and the morality of it. I really enjoy medical horror in general, but I gave this a 3-star. The ending was quite anticlimactic, and it became super fantastical in the end, if it weren't already with the vampires. But it's like, I did not expect it to turn in the direction that it went. So yeah, 3-star for that. And then the next one is A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. I have read 2 from T. Kingfisher previously and enjoyed it. However, this one wasn't exactly the type of story that I enjoy or wanted. 2.5 stars, sadly. I have seen a lot of people enjoy this one. This is about our main character who went to her childhood home to visit her mom after the passing of their grandparent, or the grandma rather, and a lot of weird stuff has been happening in the house, And the brother of the main character was like, you should check on mom because ever since grandma died, she has been acting super weird. And when the main character, who is like a researcher for insects, discovered like this house really is kind of weird. The garden is super lush and vibrant. However, there are no insects in there, so there might be something that is keeping all of the wildlife away from their home. And then all of the neighbors are saying that their house is also cursed and something like that. So it all boils down to family history, family trauma, as well as the weirdness that happened, and the weirdness that has been done by their ancestors. It's like, okay, if you're interested in like secrets from the past coming to haunt the present generation, then go for it. It's super weird, super crazy, a bit of witchy magic in here. And if you're interested in that, go for it, but it was not for me. The next one that I listened to on audiobook is Ring Shout by P. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Is it Jelly Clark? I gave this a 3.25 stars. It is mostly very heavy on like racism and post-apocalyptic monsters and like cultish behaviors, and it was fine. Quite powerful in a way when it comes to, like, I checked that this was a historical fiction, and the monsters that they presented here are actually like the race that are like discriminating colored folks, and also like people that are corrupt and such. And it's as if the people that are discriminating other people are the real monsters. They just exaggerated their features and their behaviors, and not necessarily behaviors, it's more like their features. They turned supposedly humans into monsters that are like based in history, something like that. But it's okay, it's quite powerful. The next one is Society of Lies by Lauren Lynn Brown. I gave this a 3.75 stars. I actually found like a ephemera sticker that has Prince here. The story is actually happening in this world's Princeton University. It is also like something that super toxic in a way, wherein, in broad strokes I guess, wherein as you can tell by like clubs, sororities, fraternities, I'm not saying all of it, but you do know the power dynamics when it comes to being a part of like those types of societies. You are able to get so many benefits by connection, just by being part of that society. You can get like a lot of stuff in your favor just because of those connections with the right type of people, getting on the good side of particular powerful people in society. And in the story, the main character also was part of a said society. However, there is a lot of like toxic relationships when it comes to each person in the society, and it's also like a murder mystery in a way, like all of the secrets that have been covered up because a lot of powerful people are part of the society. So it was quite interesting in a way of like whether or not you stay quiet, because if you don't stay quiet, like a lot of like basically your whole life is going to get ruined by the people who are actually involved in this. So it's quite an interesting read, and it's kind of slow for me, but it was fine. The next is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, quite a popular book late last year. I should have read this in like summertime, I guess, because it is about this group of people who have been gathered in this island where they all used to live. A lot of minor characters you think are actually part of a bigger scale of, and then it's just disaster after disaster happening in here, which was quite fun actually to read. I really recommend this if you just wanted like a lot of characters that seemingly not related to each other come together, and they were all part of this one specific situation that happened in their past. It was fun. The next one, I really had fun with this. It's my first Grady Hendrix, My Best Friend's Exorcism. I listened to this on audiobook, and it was crazy. It was crazy. I do enjoy like having all of the references to like the 80s, 90s, and I even made a mistake here and wrote 2024 instead of 2025. But it's a good read. It's a very wacky cover, almost like a VHS tape, and I really, really enjoyed it. I highly recommend My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. The next one is We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. This is a father-in-law, daughter-in-law duo. I really enjoyed how they became like this detective, police investigation situation when it happened to the main character, who is actually a bodyguard for celebrities and high-profile people. And then I believe the father-in-law was an ex-cop, and there are a lot of like celebrity influencers that are not necessarily high on the popularity, but they do have substantial following, started to like either disappear or get murdered, but they don't know who or is the one that is involved in this. And a lot of the friends of the older character, the father-in-law, are like getting involved in their investigation, and it's very fun to see older people involved in cases and be very passionate about it. I haven't even read Thursday Murders Club, which is also like the same theme by the same author, with older people solving crimes. Actually really fun, so I'm actually considering reading Thursday Murders Club. The next one we have here is The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu, and I gave it actually 2.5 stars. I am very sorry if you really love The Three Body Problem. However, it's kind of a bit too boring on my case. I really enjoy the premise of it, of like sci-fi, alien invasion, kind of sword art online-y when it comes to this realm that they are in. And I understand how like the divide between the people who are welcoming the aliens and also the people who think that these aliens are like here to conquer the earth and to make people extinct, maybe, I don't know, like they are here to rule the earth rather than help them advance in technology. But in a way, it was fine. If you enjoyed it, good for you, but for me it was like kind of boring, so I'm not going to continue with, I think, The Remembrance of Earth is the series for this. Then we are nearing the end, only 3 more books. So another Grady Hendrix, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I gave this a 4-star, even though this was kind of slow for me. But I really do enjoy how this group of women are quite, in a way, trapped in the expectations of their husbands. But if they were given like the power to speak up and to protect themselves, they are actually quite strong females, and I really enjoyed it. The men in this particular book are kind of pathetic, if I'm being honest, and I really enjoyed the dynamic switch when all of the stuff that happened in this book came into a conclusion. I really highly recommend Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires if you're interested in small town mystery, as well as like there's a lot of domestic related stuff in here. So yeah, I do recommend it. And then another recommendation of mine, I forgot to put my ratings here, but 5-star read for Mistborn, The Final Empire, the first book in the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I really enjoyed this one. All I could say about this is, since it's quite popular and it's quite a hefty book, but I really highly recommend if you are still like on the fence of whether or not to start Mistborn. I actually dropped this last year because I wasn't really in the mindset to do so or to read this book. But once you get past the first few first few chapters, you would really get to learn about this universe, how their magic system works with all of the metals they use. Like they use metals to either propel themselves or to attract metals to themselves, look for particular metals in the environment to track people or to hide themselves, and also to increase their strength, increase their tolerance, something like that. And it's quite a robust, rich universe, and I'm really happy that I have started it and pretty much excited to read the next one. And the last one here is collection of stories, again, Friendly Face, Fazbear Frights, Book 10 by Scott Cawthon. And this one was a 3-star for me. I did read a bunch from last year. I did read 9 books last year of the Fazbear Frights books. And this one was kind of okay. Friendly Face was horrific. I don't want to get into too much detail with these stories because it's quite short. You can read if you want a little bit of spoilers, but don't read if you don't. Sea Bonnies, also horrific. Together Forever was just karma. So what I know, of course, from the Fazbear Frights Five Nights at Freddy's series is that teens are kind of horrible in this. Karma is pretty quick, and that children are always being protected, the innocent children are always being protected, and that genius kids always tend to create the most horrific inventions, and it's kind of weird. So yeah, those are the 15 books that I've read for the month of January. I actually forced myself to make it into 15 books because I have another project in the works. And 15, I believe, is quite satisfying for me for the end of the month. So for a quick recap, these are all the 15. As for stats, number of books read, 15. Number of pages, 2,675 pages. Number of audiobook hours, 69 hours, 54 minutes. 6 of the 15 were audiobooks. My 2 5-stars of the month, Penance by Kanai Minato and Mistborn, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. And here is the spread that I actually made similar to last year, wherein I'm just going to write down the summary for all of the months of the year. I could have chosen a lighter color other than this gray, if I'm being honest. I was actually trying to imitate the colors of these stickers, but I should have went for like maybe a beige rather than a gray because this is kind of dark to see, but it's fine. 0 physical books, 6 audiobooks, 9 ebooks, 6 were part of a series, and 2 5 or 6 stars. And the project that I actually was working on, that I wanted it to be a solid 15 books read for the month of January, is a book blanket. I actually seen this all over TikTok, YouTube, Reels, Instagram, wherein we make either a square or a row for each book that we have read for the month. And I was like, I wanted to do a granny square version rather than the stitch version. You can do a lot with this, like you could do 1 row for every book, and base the color on the star rating, whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 star. And the one that is popular right now, which is also like a way to use up your stash, your yarn stash, is to base the colors of the squares based on the cover of the book. So quickly, I will recap all of the books that I've read for January. This square being Mysterious Affairs at Styles, 2 Twisted Crowns. This is for Graveyard Shift. This one is for Penance. The other cover, the more colorful cover for Penance, To You Shall All Flesh Come. I actually have a bunch of squares that are like red, white, or off-white, and black, so that's going to happen quite a bit. This is for A House with Good Bones, We Solve Murders, My Best Friend's Exorcism. This is for A Society of Lies. And then we have here for The Midnight Feast. So that's the first 10 books done. And then for the second row, I actually made a mistake, I think. Oh, this is for Ring Shout. As you can see here, it's very similar, right? So this one actually is for Ring Shout, and this is for the We Solve Murders, because the cover, nope, no, never mind. I won't explain it anymore. But yeah, this is for We Solve Murders. This is for Three Body Problem, which is actually one of my favorite squares, if I'm being honest. This is for Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This is for the Friendly Face. And then this one is for Mistborn. And those are the 15 squares for the 15 books. I can't even put this all on camera. I'm not necessarily sure if this is going to be a blanket of some sort, because I'm going to make a 10 square by 10 square, because my goal for the year is 100 books. But you're going to see the progress of this book blanket for each month, and I'm going to update you guys once I have the wrap up for the next month in. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. So until then, guys, take care and bye.